Hey you guys, Stephanie Zima here. Today I'm going to talk to you about 5 different things that you should be doing in your morning routine to get onto a solid day. Because have you ever woken up feeling stressed already before the day has started? Have you ever woken up feeling stressed and anxious about maybe not having enough time, or maybe having no money, or just not feeling successful enough? I know I have. I know that there are mornings that I wake up and I'm already, before the day even has started, feeling defeated and super unmotivated to do and tackle the things that I have to do, right? I cannot be alone with that. I know that you have felt like that. So, if that is you, here is 5 steps that have helped me tackle that and become super productive in not just my business, but also my entire life. Okay. And I'm going to share those with you in a minute. Now, if you're new to me, I am Stephanie Zima. I am the founder of the Walk It Free mentorship program where we heal, connect, and level up. In this mentorship program, we heal all the things that are broken, the things that are not aligned, the things that are making us anxious and self-sabotage and procrastinate, all those things we are tackling it on a healing level. Then we are going to connect with ourselves, with our authentic selves, with our audiences, with our families, all the people that are in our life, our environment. We connect with that. And then through that, we are taking the actions to really create a vision for where we want to go, what we want to do, and how we are going to get there. And that is the level up piece of this mentorship. So here we go. Okay, so that's who I am. Now we're going to step right into the 5 steps that I take every morning to get somewhere onto a solid foundation and become the successful and productive self that I am. Okay, all right, here we go. Step number 1, the power of gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Why do we need to have gratitude? Because you cannot feel angry and grateful at the same time. Give it a try. Think of something that you're super grateful of and then try to be angry at it. Try to be angry at something and then spin it into a grateful thought. Try. It's not possible. But if you are anything like me, you're probably going to think this is really cheesy. Like this whole gratitude thing, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for la 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 la. Unless you actually have had an illness of some sort that you need to feel grateful for, or feeling really grateful that you have been healed, it's often something we just kind of dismiss, right? We think, oh, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be grateful, but we really are not. I want to spin this for you because I know I've been talking to so many people, and so many people are saying like, well, my life is shit, right? And I'm sorry to be so graphic here, but my life is not working the way how it's supposed to. I have a divorce happening, I have this happening, I have that happening, yada yada yada. So many people are in the same pains, and it's really tough to think grateful thoughts at that moment. Now, what can you do in order to do that? And I want to tell you and show you exactly how I spin it. So, for example, um, my husband and I are, many of you know, we are going to get a divorce. Okay. So I was angry at my husband so many times that I was left alone. Like when my kids were younger, I was emotionally alone a lot. I was physically alone a lot, right? I was exhausted and physically and mentally completely drained. It was exhausting. So many times, and he blames me of that sometimes. So many times he says, yeah, you scream divorce all the time for 12 years. And I'm like, yeah, because I was mentally and physically exhausted and nobody realized this. So I was angry. I was super, super angry. And many of you can probably relate with that. When I started with my personal development journey, I had been introduced, just like I introduce you now, to the principle of gratitude. And I thought to myself, how am I going to be grateful? I am emotionally and physically and mentally exhausted. How can I be grateful for him? How can I get through this? And here's how, okay? I turned this around and telling myself that his absence had actually given me an opportunity to learn to stand on my own. Think about this. only because he was absent emotionally, physically, I was able to practice and learn how it feels and how it works to be tackling things on my own. Okay, so that was a blessing. I felt like that was a blessing to me, an opportunity. I was grateful for the opportunity to learn and stand on my own feet. I'm grateful for the opportunity to tackle fears head on, okay? Because many of us, we don't tackle fears. We don't even move into fears. We are literally just avoiding fears, but we're not tackling them. So his absence made me feel grateful that I actually had to tackle and face the fears head on. For example, like when I was traveling, many people see me traveling now with my kids and stuff. When I first started, that was from that motivation. It came from the motivation of tackling the fear of doing things by myself. It wasn't because I was so great. It was because I was working on gratitude. I was working on tackling and overcoming my fears at that time. Okay. So that was one of the things. Now I also was spinning it to be grateful that I had time with my children to connect and be there with them. I focus on the positive things, the grateful things, the things I could be grateful for, instead of focusing on him not being emotionally, physically being there. Okay. So I hope this made sense. All right. On to step number 2. Speak abundance in your existence. Okay. Speaking abundance, meaning bringing all the things in, all the good things in. Your words shape your reality. That's just what it is. What you say will happen. So if you constantly say, I don't have time, and yes, I know I'm still guilty of that at times. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Then your brain focuses on that all the time. You are constantly thinking you don't have time, no time, no time, no time. And out of the sudden, everything feels like you literally do not have time. But if you spin that around and say, I'm worthy of success and abundance, money flows easily and effortlessly to me, there's always more enough time, and there's always more than enough time to do the things that actually matter. See, because we often waste a lot of time. We do things that are not really mattering to us. Am I right? I'm not the only one. I know that. Okay. So figuring out what exactly matters and then spinning it into, I have more than enough time to snuggle and hug my kids, to create my business, to build on things. There are ways on how to invite abundance into your life, and that is what you need to do. You need to focus on how can I, instead of shutting down your brain of like, I don't have time, I can't do that. You have to ask it, flip it, and say, how can I? Our brains are actually like Google. It's kind of funny. They are like Google. They are able to, you ask it a question and somehow there's an answer that appears. It's super great, you guys. Okay, so stand tall and tell yourself some affirmations. Just say it. I feel like I can tackle things. I feel successful. I feel that I can do this, right? Now, the tricky part on affirmation is that you actually have to believe it for them to actually work. Because if you don't believe what you're saying, your brain is also pretty smart and says, yeah, you are lying. That's not happening, right? Don't believe you at all. And that is a problem. Okay. So you need to come up with your next step. What is your next step? And I know in online entrepreneurship and network marketing, so many of us are being told you need to go for the big dream. What is the big vision? All that stuff. But here's the problem with that. If you don't believe that you can be the top leader of your company, if you physically do not think that you can do this, you are not going to be able to take the action towards it because you just don't have that next step yet. Okay. That abundance can feel super scary. That abundance of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have this big successful team can feel really crazy, scary. And then when that happens, you actually won't take the action that will create it because your brain will continue to protect you. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to have the very next step. You need to know What do I want to do? And that leads me into my step number 3. So we had gratitude, we had abundance thinking. Step number 3 is visualize your best day. What is your best day like? What would it feel like to have your very best day? What will it take? And so many of you and me back then, we don't know what our best day would look like. We are just kind of going through the motions. We're waking up, we are making breakfast, we are going to work, we are coming home, we are watching TV, and we're going to bed, and that's it. Now, that we do this over and over and over again. However, we haven't figured out what's the goal, where do we want to go, what's our starting point, where are we at here, and what is in the way, okay? What's in the gap between where we start and to where we need to go. So when you try to picture your perfect day, this would be your perfect day right here on this side, okay? This would be your perfect day. What would you need to do to get to your perfect day? What exactly is it, right? And often the jump is too big. Let's say, for example, you want to be, I started CrossFit, you want to be the biggest, fittest CrossFit person ever, right? In your age group. Okay, you want to be that. Now, you are someone who can barely do a squat or a handstand or even a pull-up, right? You can't. What do you need to do? You need to learn how to, first you need to know how to show up. Then instead of doing the pull-up, okay, doing a full pull-up, you maybe need to learn how to hang first, and then maybe how to do a scap pull-up, and then maybe how to, progress. But you cannot say my perfect day is going to be doing this pull-up, because then you're already defeating your purpose, because you're not going to make that happen. You cannot. Physically, you are not capable of doing that. So from here to here, break it down. What do I need to do in my 30-day marks? Okay, what do I need to do in my weekly marks, and what do I need to do in my daily marks? And then that will be your perfect day. What you do in your daily marks, that will be your perfect day. That will help you to get where you need to go. Okay, so having said that, that is why so many people are not succeeding, because this is not breaking down so clearly for people. When you first start in your business, for example, you've been told big hairy dreams, do all the stuff, think abundant, attract all the stuff. But the steps haven't been given to you. The how-tos haven't been given to you. The levels haven't been given to you. And many leaders are signing and recruiting on their friends, and they are not able to do it. This is why you do need mentorship, just saying, okay? You do need mentorship, that someone can help you figure out what your quarterly goal is supposed to be, what your side steps are supposed to be, what your different levels need to be, and what the actions are that are going to give you the result that builds confidence. And so clarity plus action will equal your results. That's just what it is. Okay, so morning routine, remember, what do we have? Can you repeat it? We have power of gratitude. That is number 1. Number 2 is abundance. Okay, abundance kind of thinking. Number 3 was visualizing your best day. All right, moving on to step number 4. Move your body and breathe. You have to move your body every single day. You have to sweat every single day. And I get it. Yes, I'm still working on that myself. When you're a mom and you have multiple kids, and they have activities and they have things to do, and you're all over the place, that happens. But it doesn't have to be perfect to get started, right? You can have an idea of what you need to do, and you can work towards it. And the way how I tell my clients, for example, is it doesn't always have to be that 1 hour CrossFit. It doesn't even have to be your health goal. Doesn't always have to be, maybe 30 minutes of lifting weights. Maybe sometimes you're so exhausted that 30 minutes of walking, or maybe even 10 minutes of stretching, will do the trick for you. Something that helps your body feel a little bit better. So physical movement will shift your energy. And that's what it is, because when you're thinking negative all the time, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, things are not coming along. Often I get creative when I move my body, when I start walking, or when I even sometimes just take a shower. Okay. I mean, if it's like, there are days, I remember those days when my kids were little and I was stressed and I needed to do things. Sometimes you just need to take a shower. Okay. Whatever you are, wherever you are, that's where you need to pick it up from, and that's where you need to start. And again, it doesn't matter if you build a business or if it's just you trying to survive throughout your day. That is what you need to do. You need to do that fourth step of taking movement into consideration. You have to move your body and you need to breathe all the time. Take 5 deep breaths. See, what happens already is like I fuel my body with oxygen, and it already moves the energy that is stuck in our system. Okay, now step number 5, act as if you already have what you want. That is step number 5. So that's something that I hear people say all the time. Act as if you already have what you want. That is easy to say and really hard to do when you're in the chaos, when you are a mom trying to build a business, surviving in your job, trying to have and run a household, trying to raise the kids, trying to keep up with the social calendar, trying to do all the different things. It is really hard to act like this person that eats breakfast in bed and has people doing all the stuff for her, and like you just being able to be a motivational speaker and do all the things. Right? Yes, that jump is like just super big, super big. Now, how can you incorporate act as if you already have what you want? Same principle as I just talked in the step before. You need to not talk about final stuff here. You need to talk about what's your next step. What is your next thing that you are trying to achieve? Act as if you already had that. Don't say, my big hairy goal is I want to be a motivational speaker like a Tony Robbins. I want to be out. I want to be out there and doing all the things. Well, I can't do that yet. I cannot imagine what that feels like, that kind of life. Don't mind my security system. I can't be that or do that yet. So what do I need to do? I need to figure out what my next step is going to be. What is the next step? That is what I'm envisioning, and that is as I'm showing up as, okay? And that is what it is. So last but not least, okay, I want you for the next 7 days to try this routine, those 5 steps. I want you to try that and see if your energy shifts. And if you don't know where to even start, if you don't even know where you are at, and if you're just kind of like, you just know you need to do something, you have more success, you want to create something with your life, but you have no idea where to start, you need to have my breakthrough blueprint. That is a questionnaire that you can download for free, and it will help you pinpoint where your next step is going to be. So comment BP below so you can have it, and it's completely free. And there you go. If you already kind of have an idea and you need some accountability, you need some one-on-one coaching, some mentorship, some guidance on how to get your goals into place and how to stay accountable to them, you will definitely want to go check out that mentorship, the Walk It Free mentorship, because it's like none other. Okay, you have had goals, you've had classes, you've had masterminds, and everyone just pushes information at you, but that is not what I do for you. In this mentorship program, we actually work one-on-one together. We figure out what is it that you want to do, how are we going to achieve that. You're going to get a personalized calendar that will track your KPIs, what what do you want to do for the week? How did the week go? Let's figure out what the next week is going to be. And we're going to adjust and go as needed so that you can get most out of it from those 3 months, those 12 weeks. And then after that, you can decide to renew that as many times as you want to so that you can actually start thriving and making some progress. That is the mentorship that I would have needed when I started. That is something that I created for you to take advantage of. And yeah, so comment help below that, or check out my website or my link or wherever it is. Okay, I hope this was valuable. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know what your takeaways were, what it is that what stood out to you, what questions you may have, so I can create content that matters to you.